Are you stuck choosing between the 2026 Volvo EX60 and the 2026 Mercedes GLC EV? One offers 400 miles of range and 670 horsepower, but choosing the wrong luxury SUV will cost you over $70,000 in years of regret. Today we are putting the brand new 2026 Volvo EX60 head-to-head against the highly anticipated 2026 Mercedes-Benz GLC EV. Both of these cars are built on 800-volt electric platforms, and both pack over 360 horsepower in their base models. We are going to look at the exact United States specifications, engine details, battery sizes, real-world range, interior tech, cargo space, and exact pricing. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which electric vehicle is actually worth your money. Let us break them down category by category. Let us start by looking at the outside of these two cars. When you're spending this kind of money, you want a car that looks incredibly good in your driveway. The 2026 Volvo EX60 takes a very clean, simple approach to its exterior styling. It has a low front end that is specifically designed to slice straight through the air. Volvo gave this car a drag coefficient of 0.26, which is incredibly slippery for a midsize SUV. You'll notice the flush, illuminated door handles that pop out when you walk up to the car, and they blend perfectly into the frameless doors. At the front, you get Volvo's signature Thor's hammer headlights, but these are upgraded high-definition pixel LED lights. They actually adapt the light pattern automatically, so you do not blind other drivers on the road at night. The rear LED lights run entirely along the shoulder line of the car, making the SUV look very wide and aggressive from the back. The whole body is built using a new process called mega casting on their new SPA3 platform. This means Volvo uses one giant piece of metal for large sections of the car, instead of bolting together hundreds of small parts. This makes the car much lighter and much stronger. On the other side, the 2026 Mercedes GLC EV goes for a much more futuristic and flashy look. Mercedes gave this SUV a massive front grille area that features 942 individually backlit dots surrounding a large illuminated Mercedes star logo. It definitely screams luxury when you see it approaching in the rearview mirror. The headlights feature star-shaped daytime running lights, and the taillights have miniature star LEDs built into them as well to match the front. Just like the Volvo, the Mercedes GLC EV also hits a drag coefficient of 0.26. They achieved this by giving the roofline a very smooth, sloping shape and adding a subtle rear spoiler to guide the air off the back of the car. Both cars give you the option to equip large alloy wheels, ranging from 20 inches all the way up to 22 inches. The Volvo looks a bit more tough and understated, while the Mercedes looks like a spaceship that just landed on the street. It comes down to whether you want to fly under the radar with the Volvo or turn heads at the grocery store with the Mercedes. Moving inside, the differences between these two SUVs become huge. The interior design completely changes how you interact with the car every single day. The 2026 Volvo EX60 has a cabin that feels like a high-end Swedish living room. You sit down in seats that are wrapped in either Volvo's eco-friendly Nordico material or a ventilated Nappa leather option. Right in the center of the dashboard, you get a 15-inch curved OLED touchscreen display. This screen runs entirely on Google software and has the Google Gemini AI assistant built right into it. This means the voice controls actually understand normal speech perfectly. You can just talk to the car like a normal person to change the temperature or set a destination without fighting with a clunky system. The cabin also features an electrochromic panoramic glass roof. With the push of a button, you can instantly turn the clear glass totally opaque to block out the sun, which is a massive upgrade over traditional cloth sunshades. The ambient lighting system inside the Volvo has 6 different themes, including one that actually projects light to simulate sunlight shining through forest branches. It is incredibly calming and unique. Then you open the door of the 2026 Mercedes GLC EV and you are hit with a massive wall of digital screens. Mercedes offers the 39.1-inch MBUX Hyperscreen in this car. This is a giant piece of curved glass that stretches across the entire dashboard from the driver's side door all the way to the passenger side door. It combines the driver display, the main center screen, and a separate screen just for the front passenger into one seamless digital panel. It looks like a command center. But the best part is that Mercedes actually listened to customer complaints. Instead of making absolutely everything a frustrating touch-sensitive slider, they brought back real physical buttons for the steering wheel and the center console. You can actually feel what you're pressing without taking your eyes off the road. The Mercedes also features incredibly plush seats and dynamic ambient lighting that changes colors based on your driving mode. In terms of ride comfort, the Mercedes offers an airmatic air suspension system that automatically adjusts to bumps in the road, making it feel like you are floating over potholes. The Volvo uses a frequency-selective damping suspension, which is very good and sporty, but it does not quite have that cloud-like floating feeling you get from the air suspension in the Mercedes. Now let's talk about the engines and the performance numbers, because this is where things get really interesting for drivers who want speed. Both of these SUVs are built on dedicated 800-volt electric platforms, which means they're highly efficient and deliver crazy amounts of power to the wheels. Let's look at the Volvo EX60 first. Volvo is offering 3 different powertrain setups in the United States. The entry-level model is the P6. This has a single electric motor powering the rear wheels. It produces 369 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. This base model goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds. The middle option is the P10 all-wheel drive. This version uses dual motors to give you 503 horsepower and 524 pound-feet of torque, dropping the 0 to 60 time to a very quick 4.4 seconds. But the top-of-the-line model is the P12 all-wheel drive, and this thing is an absolute rocket. The P12 produces a massive 670 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. It will launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in an insane 3.8 seconds. That's sports car acceleration inside a practical family SUV. Now let's look at the Mercedes GLC EV. In the United States, Mercedes is giving you 2 main choices at launch. The entry-level model is the GLC 300 Plus. Just like the base Volvo, this is a single-motor, rear-wheel drive setup. It also produces exactly 369 horsepower, along with 372 pound-feet of torque. It hits 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds. The step-up model is the GLC 400 4MATIC, all-wheel drive. This dual-motor setup gives you 483 horsepower and 596 pound-feet of torque. The GLC 400 hits 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds. So when you compare them directly, the base models are identical in horsepower. The mid-level Volvo P10 and the top-level Mercedes GLC 400 have very similar acceleration times, both hitting 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds. However, if you want the absolute fastest car on the block, Volvo takes the win with the P12 model. Mercedes does not have an answer for that 670 horsepower Volvo yet. Another big performance advantage for the Mercedes is the available rear wheel steering. The back wheels can actually turn slightly, which makes this SUV feel like a small hatchback when you're parking in tight spaces or making sharp turns in the city.
Range anxiety is the biggest reason people hesitate to buy an electric vehicle, but both of these SUVs are bringing massive batteries and incredibly fast charging speeds to solve that problem entirely. The Volvo EX60 matches its 3 powertrains with 3 different battery sizes. The base P6 gets an 83 kilowatt-hour battery that gives you an estimated 310 miles of driving range. The middle P10 model gets a larger 95 kilowatt-hour battery for an estimated 320 miles of range. The top-tier P12 performance model gets a massive 117 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and this allows the car to hit an incredible 400 miles of driving range on a single charge. Because the Volvo runs on an 800-volt electrical system, it supports peak direct current fast charging speeds of up to 370 kilowatts. This means if you pull up to a fast charger, you can add 173 miles of range in just 10 minutes. You can take the battery from 10% to 80% in under 20 minutes. Plus, the Volvo comes from the factory with the North American Charging Standard port, meaning you can plug it straight into the Tesla supercharger network in the United States without needing a clunky adapter. The Mercedes GLC EV answers back with a 94.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack across its entire lineup. For the United States Environmental Protection Agency estimates, you can expect the Mercedes to deliver right around 300 to 320 miles of driving range on a full charge. It also uses an 800-volt architecture and supports up to 330 kilowatts of fast charging. With the Mercedes, you can charge the battery from 10% to 80% in about 24 minutes. It is very fast, but it is just a few minutes slower than the Volvo at the charging station. When you compare the numbers, the Volvo EX60 is the clear winner in this category. It offers a larger battery option, it gives you up to 80 more miles of maximum range, it charges slightly faster, and it has native access to the Tesla charging network right out of the gate. When you buy an SUV, you need it to be practical for daily life. You need space for groceries, luggage, sports equipment, and whatever else your family throws at it during the week. The Volvo EX60 gives you a very roomy interior. When you fold the rear seats down flat, you get a total of 58.2 cubic feet of cargo space in the back. Because this car is built on a dedicated electric platform, Volvo was able to engineer a front trunk, also known as a frunk, under the hood. Depending on the exact trim you choose, the frunk gives you between 58 and 85 liters of storage. This is the perfect spot to store your charging cables or some dirty gym bags so they do not mess up the main cabin. You also get nearly 42 inches of legroom in the front seats and over 37 inches of legroom in the back seats, making it very comfortable for tall adults to sit in the back on long trips. The Mercedes GLC EV is also extremely practical. Behind the second row of seats, you get 570 liters of cargo space, which translates to roughly 20 cubic feet. When you fold those rear seats down, the space expands massively. Mercedes also included a front trunk under the hood of the GLC EV. Their frunk gives you 4 cubic feet of space, which is about 113 liters. This means the Mercedes actually has a slightly larger front trunk than the Volvo. Both of these cars offer plenty of space for a family of 4 or 5 to go on a long road trip without feeling cramped inside the cabin.
You cannot talk about a Volvo without talking about safety, and the EX60 is packed with some of the most advanced safety technology we have ever seen on the road. Volvo is debuting their new Huygen Core technology system in this vehicle. This system uses a massive network of high-tech sensors and cameras to constantly scan the world around the car in real time. It predicts accidents before they even happen. The EX60 also features the world's first multi-adaptive safety belt, which adjusts its tension dynamically based on the exact size of the passenger and the specific type of crash occurring. You get standard safety features like forward collision warning, front and rear automatic emergency braking, a full surround view camera, rear cross-traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, pedestrian detection, and an advanced driver attention monitor that makes sure you are keeping your eyes on the road. Mercedes does not take a back seat when it comes to safety either. The GLC EV is built on their latest software platform, which handles all the advanced driver assistance systems. You get incredibly smooth adaptive cruise control that handles stop-and-go traffic perfectly, active lane keeping assist that actually centers the car in the lane without bouncing between the lines, and an automatic parking system that can parallel park the SUV for you while you just sit back and watch. The Mercedes also features pre-safe technology, which tightens the seatbelts and closes the windows automatically if the car detects that a crash is completely unavoidable. Both of these SUVs will protect you and your family exceptionally well, but Volvo's new Huygen Core sensor suite and their structural mega casting give them a slight edge when it comes to pure physical crash protection. This is the part that hurts the most, the price tag. Both of these SUVs are premium luxury vehicles, and they have the price tags to match the badges on the front. The 2026 Volvo EX60 is expected to start right around $55,000 to $60,000 for the base P6 rear-wheel drive model. If you want the mid-range P10 all-wheel drive model with the extra power and features, you're looking at a price tag starting right around $60,000. If you want that crazy fast P12 model with 670 horsepower and 400 miles of range, the price is going to climb up over the $70,000 mark, depending on the options you choose. The 2026 Mercedes GLC EV has a slightly higher entry point. Official pricing for the United States places the starting price estimated between $60,000 and $65,000 for the base GLC 300 Plus rear-wheel drive model. If you want the dual-motor GLC 400 all-wheel drive, you can expect the price to start closer to the $70,000 mark and easily exceed $72,000 when you start adding on options like the massive MBUX Hyperscreen or the premium air suspension system. When you break down the value, the Volvo gives you a bit more car for your money. You get the same base horsepower for a slightly lower starting price, and the top-tier Volvo gives you way more horsepower and significantly more driving range than the top-tier Mercedes for a very similar price point. To sum everything up, you are looking at two of the absolute best electric SUVs hitting the market in 2026. The Mercedes GLC EV is the choice for you if you want cutting-edge interior screens, the incredibly comfortable ride of an air suspension, the agility of rear-wheel steering, and a design that looks like a futuristic luxury lounge on wheels. It is a stunning piece of technology that focuses heavily on comfort and visual impact. However, the Volvo EX60 takes the win when it comes to raw numbers and practicality. The Volvo gives you up to 400 miles of range, extremely fast charging times, an absolute powerhouse 670 horsepower option, and native Tesla supercharger access, all wrapped in a sleek, minimalist design that costs slightly less than the Mercedes. You really cannot go wrong with either of these vehicles, but your daily driving habits will heavily dictate which one deserves a spot in your garage. Hit that subscribe button to catch our next full car review.